What the fuck is going on in Virginia, y'all? Virginia has over 3,200 kids missing as of this year. And 35 kids within the last 2 weeks, y'all. And guess what, y'all? There's no major headlines on this whatsoever. So I need y'all to share this with as many people as you can. We need to get this shit out. This story needs to come out right now. I'm trying to understand, how does this happen? How does this go under the radar? From January 1st to August 12th, state police has reported over 3,245 missing children across the state. And since the start of August, 35 kids gone. That's 35 families waking up every day to the worst kind of uncertainty. Shit like this make you wonder, like, what's really going on out there? Are these kids runaways? Are they in custody? Or are they being the T word? I'm starting to think, like, is this some little corruption going on behind closed doors? Like they organizing this shit? How many of these kids that disappeared case get solved? And how many quietly fade into like some cold files or some shit? We always hear protect the kids. But if we're 8 months in and we already lost 3,200 children, what is...
Your body is the first lie detector, and I'm about to show y'all how. I get a lot of questions of, how do I know if it's my intuition or me just making shit up? Example time. So let's say somebody come and ask you, hey, you want to go out for dinner or you want to go out for lunch? Immediate response is like, hell yeah, free food, I'm there. But your body start doing something totally different from what your mind is telling you. Your chest start getting tight, your stomach start turning, getting heart palpitations. That spirit telling you do not go. That's discernment in action. A lot of times we don't listen. Later on you go and some shit pop off. Then you get to thinking about that warning and you say to yourself, damn, something told me not to go. That something was what? You, the higher you. Or let's just say you go out on a date, right? You know, they some fine shit, fine. On paper, perfect. Your body just can't relax. You sipping water like you in the desert. A lot of times that's your nervous system telling you, something about this energy ain't clean. What about that job offer that just came through? It looked real good too. I mean, the money is amazing. A good company. Mind telling you, take it. But your body, back get tense. Your shoulders feel heavy. That's your intuition. That's spirit. That's discernment. It's telling you this is not alignment. This is a trap. Everything that glitter ain't gold. Your ego is going to try to rationalize it, but your body is never going to lie to you. Shoulders, your gut, your breath, it does not lie. The thing about all of this is, if you got to hype yourself over 20 times just to do something, just to say yes, it's really a no. The formula is to notice the signal. Notice the tight chest. Notice your stomach turning. Notice the heavy shoulders, the heavy breathing, that jaw clench. You ask yourself, is this fear of growth or is this my spirit protecting me? Now, if it's lighter when you ask that question, a lot of times that's just fear. Push through it. Don't let your mind, aka your ego, play tricks on you. This is why it's key to learn the difference between your ego and spirit. Now, if it feels heavy when you ask that question, that's spirit. Don't play yourself. Listen the first time. Sermon ain't always got to be mystical and shit. Sometimes it's just listening to what your body has to say. Body does not lie, your ego does. Real quick, I'm gonna give y'all something that one of my mentees gave me. She told me this is how she checks her yeses and her no's. She said when she asks herself a question, if her body leans forward just a little, that's her yes. If it leans back slightly, that's her no. I started doing this and I promise y'all, that shit works. It don't have to be dramatic. It could be the smallest shift because your nervous system is going to notice. I'm talking about way before your mind does. Just try it. Ask yourself a yes or no question and see how your body naturally responds. Don't try to force it. And get in the comments and let me know your thoughts. As always, peace, love, and light, and gratitude for watching.
Are we finally about to get the truth about interdimensional beings? This is Rep. Anna Polina Luna, and she claims that she has seen evidence of aliens. You heard what I said, aliens, interdimensional beings. As a matter of fact, take a listen to this. Listen.
I can also tell you, and this might sound crazy, but based on our investigations and stuff that we've seen, Okay, there is definitely something that I think would rival what we know currently with physics, and a tech that potentially is out there that we don't have the ability to reproduce, because it would basically be like dropping a cell phone right off back during the time of maybe caveman. So like we just don't have the tech to develop it yet.
According to what she just said in that interview, there is the tech out there, but we just don't have the ability yet to produce it. Take a listen to the rest of the interview.
When you say that it operates outside our understanding of physics, what specifically are you saying? Like what happened?
To I guess break it down in simple terms is that I think that some of the tech that exists, that whatever these things have, these energy things have,
things? What do
yeah.
you mean?
Well, they call them interdimensional beings. I think that they can actually operate through the time spaces that we currently have, and that's not something that I came up with on my own. That's based on stuff that we've seen. That's based on information that we've been told. And then also too, I think that there's this historical aspect of, this gets into the deeper theories and concepts of religion.
Now you heard how she responded to the question and how she broke it all down. She's basically saying in terms that those interdimensional beings are already here. We just can't see them. They're able to operate in our specific zones and locations per what she said. So my question to you is, what do you make of the interview and her talking about interdimensional beings and possibly them being here and us not being able to see them? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Why is everything dying right now? Animals, trees. Why is everything radioactive right now? Bees, shrimp. Why is there toxic gas in the middle of Manhattan that's unaliving people right now? Can't stand that word. Come right back to this because this is massive. So this account right here, notice that the leaves were changing way earlier than usual, but at the same time, for weeks now, trees have been dying all over the United States. Colorado, California, really every single state, we have trees dying nonstop, and guess what? Like usual, nobody knows why. And you mean to tell me that while all these trees are unexpectedly, unknowingly dying, that we also have these radioactive wasps that just showed up, and they said it was because of a nuclear thing, but now we have radioactive shrimp as well? And not just radioactive bugs and radioactive bugs of the sea. Now we have a toxic vapor in Manhattan. Deadly vapor-borne disease rips through New York, killing 3 and hospitalizing dozens. Okay, hold on. Let's regroup and slow down. Again, all the trees are mysteriously dying. Radioactive bugs and bugs of the sea. And now we have these bunnies showing up with this crazy, what looks to me like mushrooms or mold popping out the side of their face. Coincidentally, again, at the same exact time, now we have these problems happening in squirrels as well. And also we have these zombie deer disease going crazy right this minute as well, all at the same time. And also, a note to the wise, I've also broken down in past videos for you guys how radioactivity is similarly striking to spiritual energy and frequency. If you notice, the last week, the human frequency has been insane every single day and still doing things it never does. Or rarely. We have new patterns and blackouts and all sorts of things happening. Remember, back in the World War, they needed to get their nuclear cube to a reaction, and they were at, I believe, 665, possibly just one away. Or maybe it was 664 and 2 more needed. All these cracks going on in the Midwest. Of course, frequency literally triggers and manipulates earthquakes. By the way, completely 1000% unrelated, not relevant whatsoever, neither what I'm saying or what the radar is showing. Something incredibly odd's been going on. Whenever it rains real hard, I go outside and I smell bleach. Am I the only one? Let me know in the comments. Again, this is unrelated, I'm just telling you guys a story. And also, I've been hearing really strange sounds coming from the sky the last few days. And it was weird because when I took out my phone to record it, boom, silenced. You guys feel anything weird lately? Maybe the last few days? Now, back to what's relevant. Things are getting extremely weird in 2025. Make sure you like or bookmark this post so you can find it later. You will need it. Why? Just wait.
Did y'all know that every 7 years we literally die and resurrect without leaving our bodies? So literally we not the same person we was 7 years ago. That's why when people say you changed, and I say, why haven't you? Scientifically as well as spiritually, it's kind of like inevitable. Our bodies are always regenerating. So when old cells die, new ones form. Skin cells turn over every few weeks. Red blood cells every 3 to 4 months. Even bones and organs replace themselves over time, which really tripped me out when I found that out. When you add that up, about every 7 years, your body goes through a full cellular makeover. So again, this means the body you have right now is not that body you had 7 years ago. I'm thankful for that, because 7 years ago, I definitely was wide and all outside now that I think about it. Now, anybody who knows me knows that 7 is one of my numbers, as well as 9. But technically, I was born in the 7th month, which is September. Born on the 9th day. And they call it 9-9 right now, but we know it's really 7-9. But spiritually, 7 represents completion, divine cycles, and portals. So spiritually, every 7 years, your soul pushes you into a rebirth. That's why around those times, you suddenly change your diet, your taste in music, your circle of friends. I know for me, one of the fastest ways I can tell that I'm changing or evolving into the newer version of myself is my taste buds definitely change. I even become allergic to some shit that I've been eating for ages. So the old version of you is gone because even the biology doesn't match it anymore. Just think about it though. 7 years ago, what did you believe in? Who were you entertaining? What did your body crave or feel like compared to now? You've literally resurrected into another version, a newer version of yourself. Most people don't realize it because we just say, oh, we grew up, or my interests just changed. But no, it's way more than that. It's spiritual as well as cellular evolution that's syncing up. A lot of times people try to fight this spiritual evolution. So now this shows up physically as anxiety, depression, overload, sensitivity, and burnout. Those cells begging for the upgrade while your mind is still clinging to the past. This is why I don't fear what they call death, because I know that we resurrect every 7 years. Pretty much every time we go to sleep, we closer to death than we think. Learned how to deal with death when I realized that death is not the end. It's just the cycle of becoming. Who were you 7 years ago, and who are you becoming now? That is the real proof that we are multidimensional beings. We've already reincarnated time and time again in the same vessel, in the same lifetime. You can see this scientifically as well as spiritually. Said all that to say, sky is not the limit. Just told you, you are a multidimensional being. It's constantly regenerating. The real question becomes, who do you want to be? What's stopping you from being that? Exactly. You. Go be great. You know y'all thoughts in the comments. As always, peace, love, and light, and gratitude for watching.
You know what's crazy? A lot of our houses, buildings, and infrastructure are actually built on the top of the bodies of deceased titans or titans frozen in stasis. How do you feel about that?
I can agree. In my whole experience, I've had some channels where I've kind of gone and I have connection when I do my water rituals and things with Tiamat, right? And one of the visions that I was shown was how, when things get real, all of those land masses, all of those things where there are, dragons or, any kind of
giants or titans.
Giants and titans will kind of erupt, and it's going to cause some catastrophe, unfortunately. So I can completely believe it.
I believe like certain areas where it's climatic alterations or earthquakes. What if those are titans starting to, the blood is starting to circulate through their veins again? They starting to wake up or they're moving a little bit. The ashe is starting to reemerge back in them. When we talk about the Bible, when we make reference to Lot's wife in Sodom and Gomorrah, it states that she was froze. Something froze her, right? She looked back and something froze her. Right. A lot of the giants, a lot of the mountains, some of the mountains, I promise, when Tiamat fully wake up, some of these mountains, did you think these mountains are going to get up, walk away? They're going to wake up fully, and they're going to walk off, and they're going to remember what happened. When our planet was invaded, I believe that all of the dragons, all of the massive titans were all frozen. And at some point, and we build our houses, we build our buildings right on top of the bodies of these giants and right on top of the bodies of these titans. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Think about volcanoes, right? And you think about the fire and things that erupt. I believe that's because that's dragon energy. That energy that's in there and that fire and things are probably an actual dragon, that it is, mounted on. It could be even like, if you think, when you look at dragons and things, you see kind of some pointed things on some dragons. What if those volcanoes are like the parts on the dragon's back, It could be a myriad of things, but we know that we are on a living, sentient dragon planet. And people ask, what does that mean? What does it mean, as far as a dragon planet? It means that this planet is actually Tiamat. And if you go into those stories of in terms of what happened with Tiamat and how she was slain and all the things that we could be talking about forever, but we know that it was actually a nice, beautiful, kind of similar to the Avatar movie, right? Everything was functioning, it was peaceful, it was beautiful, and we were connected to the spiritual pieces of this earth, right? It was beautiful and flourishing until, you know, some other things happened, and then, you know, the planet was hijacked and things changed. So yeah, I completely believe it.
They was nefarious extraterrestrials. When we dig into the Anunnaki, when we talk about Marduk, I personally feel like the Anunnaki came here and they actually were part of the first reset. I believe the eugenics program that they tell us about, and that's coming from them, is not 100% true. I believe that we actually were already here, and some of us were descendants of this primordial chaos dragon Tiamat that you actually have a direct connection to. And Tiamat showed you, you seen Tiamat revealed to you that it's going to be catastrophe and a calamity that's taking place. And again, as you may mention, I believe that it's a lot of those ancient dragons or titans that are going to reawaken once the frequency of the planet turn up due to the Schumann resonance and these solar flares. Eventually, remembrance and energetic codes are going to be triggered in these titans, and they're going to start to wake up. The planet's waking up, and the magic is returning.
Absolutely, same as us, right? We're all waking up, we're ascending, and as the energies continue to increase, we're rising in frequency with Tiamat, with the planet. So just the same as we're rising, everything is rising. Animals, you know, everything is rising and everything is different. And that's why these inoculations and different things have been put in place to keep us from, you know, suppressing us from actually reaching our true divinity. But they can't do that, right? It's no matter what, it's inevitable and it's going to happen. So everything is alive, everything is sentient, and everything is rising in frequency with it, including the titans are waking up. We're all waking up out of that sleep state, so to speak. So I know there's been a whole lot of talk around Three Eye Atlas, right? We've had our side conversations about it. I've given you a little bit of insight in terms of how I feel about it, which, you know, we'll talk about. But if you could provide your insight to the collective in terms of what you feel about the Three Eye Atlas and what you feel that the trajectory of it is.
Now, from what I heard that the Three Eye Atlas was a ship that was actually harbored by Enlil. All right, some say it's a ship that was utilized by Enlil, which is the nefarious brother from the Anunnaki pantheon. We heard stories of Enki and Enlil, and some say Enlil was the god of the wind, and he didn't like humans. You know, we know that they say the whole flood came from Enlil. So this is why some allege that this Three Eye Atlas is malevolent. But to dig a little bit deeper, I think it's it could be some type of extraterrestrial technology, but it also could be a psyop. It could be something that's used by our own government. That's actually utilized to pretty much try to throw us off, right?
Right.
So, some say that this Three Eye Atlas actually works in conjunction with the electromagnetic grid. It works in conjunction with our electromagnetic grid, and it sends out pulses, certain pulses, and they even allege that certain individuals that synchronized with the harmonic output from Three Eye Atlas were chanting Enlil. They were waking up, and it was said about 40-something people were saying the name Enlil. So this is why some allege that it's deceptive. They also indicate that this is attached to Medusa, which is a Medusa program, which is associated with transhumanism, which is the integration of autonomous biology with cybernetic technology. So that's one thing that I heard, but it could be a psyop for all I know. We don't know what it really is.
Right.
What's your thoughts on it?
Well, we talked a little bit about it. I don't know that I trust anything that comes out that they're giving us, like, hey, this is what's happening, it's here, it's this close. My personal beliefs, what my intuition tells me, is that it could potentially be a psyop, but it could be a cover-up for something really different, major that's going to happen. We all know the solar flash is inevitable, right?
Yes.
And that's going to happen. So there's a YouTube video, which I recommend everybody go check out. It's called The Geocentric Universe, right? And this is a whole model in terms of what they feel like may end up happening. And if you look at this model, it talks about like this solar flash, this big event that's going to occur. And when it happens, they're going to say, oh, it was an alien attack, or, oh, it was a nuclear attack. It was something explosive, which is none of those things. It's an event that is a solar flash that's meant to upgrade us, right? To give us those certain ones, of us, those special powers and those special abilities. And maybe they're trying to mask it by creating fear and fear mongering to say this is what it's going to be, when the whole time it might be upgrades that we're willing to have. So they might say, stay in the house, don't come out, it's radioactive stuff and whatever, where the whole time is that this is what's needed for us to upgrade our DNA or our DEA, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's my take on it.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. I personally feel like this is one of the reasons why they try to demonize these things, to try to actually create that concept of fear. So we're running from it. We're staying in the house, and we're avoiding these ultraviolet rays and things of that nature that really, when synchronized with our melanin, upgrades us. We know melanin is a semiconductor, but when exposed to large amounts of ultraviolet radiation, it becomes a superconductor. So we know that, and I believe that this is one of the reasons why they're trying to demonize a lot of these things. Not only that, I also believe that our cosmic star families are returning. All right, and a lot of us are seeing these ships. You see a lot of ships all the time.
I do.
I feel like you have direct contact with these beings. You show me tons of videos with these ships in the sky and things of that nature. So a lot of us are actually getting these contacts as well. So this could be another. They could be trying to demonize it so we can be in the energy of fear, which it lowers our frequency, so we don't have the ability of receiving these interstellar connections with our cosmic kin. That can be another thing that they're trying to do as well.
What's really important to know is that we have to really be fearless, right? Don't succumb to all of the things that are out there, because as soon as we attach on to any of these belief systems, right? Whether it's a destructive, timeline or whatever it is, as soon as we have fear or we agree to it, we're on that timeline, right? So as long as we remain fearless and don't really attach on to any beliefs, just live life, stay in the love frequency, right? Stay in the high, stay grounded, stay really, in a place of love, and just don't attach on to any of those timelines that are showing up, because that's the one you're going to be on.
We are electromagnetic tuning forks to the cosmos. So they utilize our magnetism to actually control or manipulate the realm at their will. They'll create these induced fear events basically to lower our energy, and then basically manipulate our magnetism at that point, right? So that's I agree with that 100%. This is why I also stress the importance of making sure that you cleanse yourself, making sure that you're utilizing parasite cleanse, detoxing yourself of all the toxic metals like lead, cadmium, mercury, and aluminum that they emit through the chemtrails and in our irrigation systems, to make sure that you cleanse yourself, that you're grounding, that you're sun gazing, that you're doing all the necessary steps to reconnect yourself and reacquaint yourself back with nature. And going inward is one of the most important things that we can do as we focus on this ascension process moving forward. Ashe. So why do you think that the elites that run this matrix go so hard to attack the womb of the divine feminine? I noticed they attack y'all very hard.
Well, to me, it only makes sense, because women, we've forgotten who we are. The divine feminine has been in the deepest sleep state, right? More than anyone. And so because of that, we are walking interdimensional portals. We bring life forth, right? Living biological stargates, so to speak. And with that being said, we are the ones we create. Think about like the whole concept of a woman comes from a man's rib, right? We know through parthenogenesis, the woman is able to create on her own. That's the whole immaculate conception theory about like whatever happened. It was all about the woman, woman's ability to create, and be able to bring life forward. So we're powerful. So how do you attack the divine feminine? How do you keep her suppressed from stepping into her true divinity? Because she's so powerful, right? Way more powerful than we've been led to believe. We poison them, right? I remember a time where relaxers and all that was out and everybody was doing them. We were putting it in our heads and we were doing that. And what was it doing? It was causing all kinds of cancers. It was causing all kinds of things, chemicals. Everything in the health and beauty industry, because we are the ones that are the main consumers of it. We consume these things, and they're, really attacking us to keep us from, reaching our true divinity and waking up to the true gods and the true goddesses that we are.
Ashe. And is that why you started the body butters?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that, the divine feminine are getting the right products from the earth, from Mother Earth, in our, on our skin, because our skin is the biggest organ that absorbs, right? Everything. So
when we talk about parabens, phthalates, and PFAs, it's a good thing you make mention of that, because a lot of the toxic chemicals that are in the health and beauty products are parabens, phthalates, which are plasticizers, all right? They're pretty much emulsifiers that contain preservatives which harbor carcinogens. And when the goddesses use these things in their skin, the skin being the biggest organ in the body, soaks up these parabens and phthalates, co-polymerizes with the melanin, and then gives them certain elements. We know that the womb is where our minds begin. We know that that's where our minds originate. So if they attack the womb of the divine feminine, in turn, they actually lower the frequency of the whole realm.
Right.
Which is okay. All right.
Absolutely.
So when you were making these body butters and you were actually coming up and alchemizing coming up with this, you actually were doing this actually to combat the deceptive machinations of the health and beauty industry.
Absolutely. I mean, we have to stop poisoning ourselves. All the things that we're buying over the counter, I can guarantee you when you turn around and you look at the ingredients, it's poisoning, right? And then they will mask some of these ingredients with other names, right? These big words that you can't even pronounce. But when you type them in, you'll see that these are poisoning us, right? So everything that I have within my ingredients are 100% organic and natural. There's nothing that is unnatural. And you can use it from head to toe. You know, your hair, everything, right? And it's going to, you know, it's non-comedogenic, which means that it's not going to clog your pores. It's not going to do anything. It's going to do the opposite. You can use it after shaving for men, you know, if you like. I mean, it's really good for scars and blemishes and all of those different things. It's all natural ingredients.
And one thing I noticed is it also contains moringa oil. And the good thing about moringa oil is it actually has something called oleic acid. The oleic acid penetrates deeper into the skin layers to allow you to better soak in the sun. A lot of people don't know that. So with all of these solar flares coming in, utilization of the body butters are going to allow you to better facilitate and co-polymerize with those light photons with the oleic acid and the moringa oil. So, I mean, I noticed that this has raw organic shea butter, also very good for fine lines and wrinkles. Mango butter, all right, also another one that's very good for fine lines and wrinkles. So in essence, utilization of the body butters will begin to reverse aging. I noticed just using it on my skin, that this is all I use, all right, and I noticed that it's been actually making me age in reverse.
Right. So, and I don't just say it like I'm a huge proponent. That's all I use. And when I've tried to use other products after that, like I went out of town and traveled once, and I left my body butters, and I had to get something local, and it just did not feel alcohol. It just most of those products have alcohol and things like that stuff that dries up your skin. This continues to keep your skin moisturized, and it smells good, and it's long lasting, and it's healing properties in it. As you mentioned, so all of those things, vitamin E and the jojoba oil, and all of those things are great components to really brighten your skin and help it stay moisturized and really purified. And the vitamin E is very good for. I notice I typically get razor bumps and stuff like that after shaving. Leaving the barbershop. When I use this, it actually makes my beard a lot more soft. It actually removes any of the razor bumps, any of the dry skin. I wholeheartedly recommend getting your body butters. All right, link in bio. The body butters are something that is a must-have.
Let me get this straight. So Aldi, the grocery store, is telling people to eat bugs as a more affordable way to feed their families. This is real life right now.
Considering selling edible insects to help families afford protein. This stuff drives me nuts, Esther.
Absolutely disgusting. I'm sure Bill Gates is over the moon because that's been the plan all along, to get us to stop eating normal food and to eat bugs while the elite at the top eat their Wagyu beef and lobster and watch all the peasants at the bottom eat insects and rats because it will save the planet, apparently.
This screams Agenda 2030, and if you don't know what that is, let me fill you in. So here's a list of what they want to happen by 2030. So a one world government, a one world military, the end of all national sovereignty, the end of all privately owned property, the end of the family unit. And remember that little conspiracy where we all eat bugs while they eat all the good stuff? It's not a conspiracy now, is it? And they're working overtime because in California, they are proposing to charge all California drivers $1 every 3 miles. So let me break it down. They're losing money at the pump on a gas tax due to all electric drivers. So now you pay up front on a maintenance fee for the roads that you drive on. And this is how it starts, you guys. They can change the rules of the game at any time to fit their agenda, and you lose your rights and freedoms little by little, and you're supposed to just go with it. Spread the word because we cannot let this shit go down. I know I won't be eating bugs, so make sure you guys share this video.
And tell me these two women didn't come from a parallel universe. So she's going to stand in front of this thing and take a picture, and two people appear out of nowhere right behind her. Where would they have came from? These two people only appeared when she turned around. So maybe by her stopping and turning around, she created a branch, another branch of reality. Maybe in our reality, she was supposed to just keep walking, and in their reality, she turned around. So their reality becomes our reality. Stay weird.
This is Walter John Kilner, the man who invented the Dicenian glasses. And these glasses allow the user to pierce the veil of the third dimension and to see into the dimensions above. So Kilner invented this device and he called it the Kilner screen, and he used Dicenian glass, which is a special dye that's derived from coal tar. And this dye was used to make these glasses. Now, he wrote this book called The Human Atmosphere, and he proved that the users of these glasses were able to perceive the electromagnetic radiation outside of the visible light spectrum. With this, he proved the existence of human auras or energetic fields around the human body, and that you could gaze into dimensions beyond our third dimensional plane. After Kilner had published his findings, the government came in and confiscated everything. They have done an extremely good job of scrubbing this information from the internet. This is because it poses a massive threat on the system if people are actually aware of the true nature of our reality. They want you thinking that all of this came from a big bang and that there's no significance to life. But this couldn't be further from the truth, and Kilner proved it. Peace and love.
You are not in control of your life. Here's why. Watch this.
I told you that there was a company called Palantir, and their entire existence was to hear your whispers so they could predict what you would do next. Now, what if I told you it was backed by the founder of PayPal and the CIA? What if I told you Palantir was quietly connected to your bank statements, social media, medical records, and a lot more? Then what if I told you their entire purpose was to understand and blueprint your life so they could predict exactly what you do next? If you want to know what that's called, it's called behavior surveillance. Like that grocery receipt from the time you went to the store at 11 p.m. We can't forget about that sudden change in your jogging pattern outside. They won't. Or your 3 a.m. Google search. You see, Palantir sends your personality anomalies directly to the government because you unknowingly gave them that right in the terms and agreements that you didn't read. Palantir isn't just surveillance, it's predictive governance. Control the data, control the decisions. Well, at that point, you can basically control anyone without them knowing that you're doing so.
This is just another step for the corporations, the governments to have complete control over everything we do. As always, thank you for watching. Stay weird.
Been struck. TikTok, how many people? The deal has been struck. TikTok will no longer be on our phones from September of this year through March of 2026. They're going to be replacing it with a new version of the American TikTok app, and it's going to be called M. M is short for Meta. Oracle and a few other billionaires will be the new owners of TikTok. Here are the two things that is going to be coming along with that. You will no longer be able to see what's going on in the rest of the world because it destroys the government's narrative. And the U.S. government will now have full access to all of your data on TikTok, which is, if it's 130 million of us users here in the United States, that's a $3 billion a year sale of your data. That's what it's all about. Controlling the narrative for world views and your data. Don't get it twisted. It has nothing to do with national security. It has nothing to do with anything more than controlling the money and controlling the narrative.
Where the hell are we right now? Because yesterday in California, somebody tested positive for the bubonic plague. And if you don't know what the bubonic plague is, I think you need to look it up. The bubonic plague, most famously known as Black Death, was a devastating pandemic that swept through Europe, Asia, North Africa, starting in 1347, taking the lives of tens of millions by killing a third of Europe's population. So as you see, as regular as they're trying to make it sound, it's not regular at all. They're saying it's caused by Yersinia pestis bacterium, spread by fleas on rats and other different types of rodents. So officials are saying that your cats and dogs can also be affected by these fleas and bring those fleas into your house. They're also saying that the plague is naturally found in areas of California. So California residents, after this situation, you need to be aware. The person that got infected with this plague, they're saying he's recovering. But what if he didn't get help soon enough? Most likely, we probably have a problem on our hands. This is one of these situations where everybody needs to be aware, because this ain't right. This is not regular at all. I'm out.
Imagine being a grown adult with stable income and using that power to count up every penny over 6 months of expired fruit cups a disabled child ate because they were facing food insecurity because the job they have working at your store doesn't pay them enough to live, and tracking every penny of those expired fruit cups until it hit over $110 so that you could call the police and file very specific criminal charges against a disabled kid who works for you who's just hungry. Wow, God bless America. What a wonderful place we live in, where we've used all of our access to opportunity to really truly punish and degrade our fellow neighbors. Shame on you, Myers. And for you to have people answering your corporate line right now who are laughing in our faces over the customer service phone line when we're asking about this incident that happened at one of your stores doesn't really look like a good corporate look for you right now.